I want to ask you about a song called Scientist.
Yes, it's on In Memory of Tom. Yeah.
When I was listening to it, I was like, oh man, like without saying a word, musically, this seems like a tribute to this person. Because if he's a jazz saxophonist, there are a couple of things that I thought I heard a dissonance in the chords that felt to me like, okay, this is jazz and it's an upbeat jazz, but it's not a happy-go-lucky Louis Armstrong kind of thing.
Right.
It's the dissonance of it feels like it's got a weight to it as well. And the fact that it is jazz felt like a nod to Tom. Would you say that, I don't know, that it feels accurate? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it was improv, and so I didn't know what was going to come out. I did know that so I had chosen these five aspects of Tom: uh, dancer, teacher, poet, scientist, human being. And um, so as I went into the studio to improvise each of these, I knew that I had this idea, at least lightly in the air. And when I did that particular piece, I knew that I was attempting to honor the part of Tom that was a scientist, and he was a scientist. That was his day job for decades.
Right.
And for whatever reason, it was that very dissonant, um, you know, chordal melodic intersection. And I, when I was done, I just thought, yeah,
That's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not afraid of dissonance. Uh, I'm not afraid of dissonance in music, and I'm not afraid of dissonance in life. I think it happens a lot, and I think that the problem is that we get this idea, both musically and in life, that the way to take care of dissonance is to resolve it,
Mm.
and that's not always true. Sometimes I need to learn to become comfortable with the dissonance if it stays. And I think we have a large segment of the population that does not buy into my idea.
It's a difficult one to think of because even as a musician, one of the things that I teach my students all the time, especially when I am talking about improvising, is tension and release. Like in a song, you can build up a certain amount of tension, right? But at some point, the idea is typically to release the tension. So it's a difficult one, what you just said, but I can see the sense in it that if it doesn't let go, like you don't always have control of whether that tension is going to let go of you, basically, you know?
Yeah.
So learning to deal with that, I guess. You wrote something. I found this opening a bit of heaven on earth through spontaneous music. Do you remember writing that?
Oh yeah, totally.
And spontaneous has these connotations to it, but it also has a reality is that it's spontaneous. You don't know what's going to happen. So, as much as you can envision what you want to happen, it's like throwing, if you throw a stone into the water, it's going to make ripples, right? But you don't know how many. It's kind of like that. You don't know exactly how it's going to go. And more, if you followed the rock into the water, you have no idea other than it's going to go to the bottom of the water. So maybe that's part of it, is like, if you're willing to embrace the spontaneity, then you also have to be willing to accept that you've lost the control of where it goes
Yes,
next, you know?
yes. Well, and I do try, as much as possible to come to improv without preconceptions. Now, obviously, that's impossible. I'm always going to have preconceptions about something.
Yeah.
For example, what is music? I have some preconceptions about what that is.
Right.
And so, all my assumptions are going to, you know, affect my creation. But I
Right.
try as much as I can to come to improv, you know, with this empty mind and just say, okay, now let's see what happens.